How's it going, guys? My name is Frank and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing our monthly analysis for the month of May. Now in this video we're going to be going through our top cryptocurrencies, essentially Bitcoin, Ethereum and a few different altcoins. And we're going to be going back and having a look at what occurred in April and basically putting our hypothesis forward for what is to come not only in May but in the coming months and potentially years. Now, as you might have seen by the title, we are predicting that there is no new all-time high for Bitcoin. But until when? So we're looking at an extended drawback for Bitcoin, not a massive one, not the end of the world, not a bear market, but we are looking at a pre-halving pullback. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet and been watching some of our latest videos, obviously last month's analysis, and then obviously our pre-halving pullback video seems to have called, if you go back and watch these two videos, they do call what is you're kind of starting to see play out with this pullback that we're seeing in crypto markets and a big couple of red days, especially just to start the month. So if you haven't watched these videos, go back and watch them just for a bit of context. I think they do provide some good value in retrospect. And if you do enjoy the video, consider hitting that subscribe button. We are pushing up for 700 subscribers, not only 700 subscribers, but 1,000 subs. And at 1,000 subs, I'll give you guys another how to get 500 subs video. Except it's going to be how to get 1,000 subs. So hit that like button to push this video further out in the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button if you do enjoy. If you have any questions regarding anything crypto related, YouTube related, whatever it might be, finance related, feel free to comment down below. So this is the main chart that we've been following for Bitcoin. It basically follows our 4-year cycle. As well as what we've added now is our pre-halving pullbacks. This is what we're predicting that we're in at the moment, is that during what these black lines represent, I should also add, are the halvings, the prior halvings. So you can see we've had now 4 Bitcoin halvings, and what we see is that around the halving we do have some period of an extended pullback. So if we go all the way back to the first halving, you can see that from whilst it is only one red month, from the pre-halving top to the eventual breakout candle was 5 months. Same thing again from the top of the pre-halving candle, well, not the pre-halving, but the pre-halving high, to the eventual breakout was yet again 6 months. And then you can see we had in the last cycle quite an extended pullback. That was obviously quite a large rally into the high prior to the Bitcoin halving, and then a breakout 17 months later. So what history is suggesting here is that we often see, or pretty well every single time in the past, we have seen Bitcoin put in a local top, and then we've had some sort of pullback before, during, and after the halving. And then eventually, yes, we break out and we go on to new all-time highs. But as you can see, it looks like we're in the midst of what we are calling the pre-halving pullback. And as we've looked at just before, so this can last anywhere from, 5 months to 17 months, so we've got quite a large range. Now what we can do to kind of maybe further tighten up our view of when we could see an eventual breakout is we've also got our 4-year cycle on this chart. So we've got 1 year of basically a parabolic move, 1 year down, and then 2 years from the cycle bottom to the prior all-time high. And we see this time and time again. 1 year up, 1 year down, 2 years to the prior all-time high, 1 year up, 1 year down, 2 years till the prior all-time high. So now, of course, these don't have to play out the same every single time, but hypothetically, if this were to repeat itself in some regard, and that come 2 years after the cycle low, we end up at the prior all-time high, that would push us out to October, November, which is only 8 months away. So if Bitcoin continues to pull back from its local top and then eventually break out later into the year, this would help tie up our pre-halving pullback thesis as well as the 4-year cycle. It would really confirm the 4-year cycle. It would it doesn't have to play out this way necessarily, but you often see no matter how things play out, they always no matter how it plays out in the short term, in the long run, things are generally the same. They don't necessarily repeat, but they'll rhyme. You've heard all those sayings before, and that's pretty well what we get here, right? We've had a couple of different cycles, right? But they've all had pre-halving pullbacks. They've all had, the 2-year accumulation phase, and this Bitcoin cycle looks to be no different. we're going to get a pre-halving pullback, and then we're going to pretty well have a 2-year accumulation phase, give or take a month or two. So even if we pull back just for 6 months, that puts us pretty close to our target. And if we pull back 8-9 months, that also puts us pretty close to our target. So these are the sort of time frames that we need to look at with this current pullback, that it could be, it could last like this quite a while. Now, of course, this is until the breakout that we're talking about. This isn't 8 months until the low. This is 8 months until an eventual breakout of the current all-time high, which is about 74,000. So we just need to keep that in mind when we are trading, is that short term we are looking quite bearish, but in the long term, nothing has really changed, right? We're still in the accumulation phase, and we still expect next year to be a very, very good year for investors. And if we have a look at Bitcoin on the daily chart, the picture is quite clear. As you can see by these circles, lower high, or sorry, that was the high, lower high, and we're really starting to see the collapse. Obviously, this is just the first day of May, and we're already down, what is it, like 5% on the day. So things could get pretty turbulent over the coming months. We can see that we just broke out of some of those local bottoms, some of that support we are underneath now. So, we could drop quite low here, there's no doubt about it. How low do we drop? I don't think it matters too much, in all honesty, unless we start to come all the way down to like the 30s, because we do need to look at this from a local like our swing top and swing bottom. So our current swing bottom is this candle just here, at what is it, the low is $24,919. So unless we swing all the way down and break that swing low, that's when there's definite cause for concern. Now, please, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that. I think we probably pull up in the maybe the 50s, maybe the 40s, and then we continue on our way, just enough to sucker people in, think that's the end of the world, think that Bitcoin's going to zero, and then we'll pump from there. So I wouldn't say these are realistic targets, but that is currently where our swing lows are. If we just drew this on a chart, like so, swing top, like this. If this is making sense what I'm doing, I'm just drawing monthly swing highs and monthly swing lows. There you go. It's really that simple, and you can see that our current swing low is this one just here, and we don't have any up until this point right now. We're just in the beginning, so we could come theoretically all the way down here, and then we could continue all the way up, right? And that would still put in a lower low, and then we can continue on and create a a higher low, and then create a higher high. So if that makes sense, so there's really no cause for concern for quite a while on these charts. And there is a lot of space for Bitcoin, to where it can fall to, but it's wherever it goes to, it's not really cause for concern. We just need to wait for that bottom to come in and consider buying this dip. Now, as for Bitcoin dominance, we did get this call wrong. We thought Bitcoin dominance was going to continue lower and start to see that transition year play out. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think it's not a matter of if, but when we start to see a bit of an altcoin season take over. But the matter of fact is that we were wrong, and yes, we are still in a Bitcoin season. We put in our highest Bitcoin dominance percentage at 56.89%, or what was it? The high 57.03%, sorry. So, very, very good if you're a Bitcoin bull. But obviously, it's invalidated our opinion, but that doesn't really matter, right? Because we're looking at this far more long term. We're not, short-term traders by any means. And if our Bitcoin is performing really well, that's always a good thing, right? So as we can see now, we've pretty well just created like a bit of a trend line. So I guess we kind of look at this now as the line of support, and if that gets broken down, we'd be looking at our swing tops yet again. So at this point in time, we're back to that stance of Bitcoin dominance is strong, and we're gonna continue to stay Bitcoin dominance bullish until we see something that switches our opinion, such as lower highs and lower lows. But obviously last time was not the case, and I guess we should have thought about that a bit earlier with our, we had our thesis that we would see a pre-halving pullback at some point, and we're starting to see that now. And obviously in hindsight, that would likely have a positive effect on the Bitcoin dominance. So I should have thought about that beforehand, but you live and you learn. So maybe we wait until the end of this pullback that we're seeing at the moment, and then we can continue, or we can see Bitcoin or altcoins start to take over the crypto space. So as for Ethereum, last month when we were looking at it, we would have been in and around this candle right here, April 1st, so just before things started to get a bit ugly, I suppose. And what we were saying was basically that, Ethereum's had a great rally, yes, but we're obviously coming up on some pretty critical support. Obviously, the $4,000 range, any sort of round numbers like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or 10 cents, a dollar, whatever it might be, they're always going to be key support and resistance, and that was definitely the case yet again. And now, as for where we are, it's a similar case to Bitcoin, where we're just kind of waiting for a low to come in. Where it comes in is anyone's guess, unfortunately. I'd like to say that it would hold the 50% level of 2,433. That would be ideal. So this current pink line, you can see it's been support in the past, it's been resistance in the past. If it can come down, find support on there, that would be a really good case, and then we can continue up. That would be, in my opinion, the most bullish case. And if we do break down on that, then we are looking, still in pen mode, if we do break down of our 50% level, then we're probably looking at maybe this the trend line that's held up really well, and this next lower support and resistance zone. So we'll just wait and see. It's hard to really call at this point in time. I think we do come a little bit lower. How low, for how long? Let's wait and see how Ethereum reacts once it gets down to these support and resistance levels, and then we'll have a better idea. Now, as for Kronos, I think it has been showing some good signs, in the sense that Bitcoin is down, over 22% from its local top, or from its all-time high. And Kronos, yes, it is still down. It's down, 35%. But I feel like in the past, and a lot of other altcoins, they are down far, far more. Kronos is showing some resistance to this entire drawdown, which is good. But in reality, this is the same thing again, the same with a lot of our current tokens that we're looking at with Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is likely just going to be another monthly swing low. And we'll probably put in a higher low. So if we can just, we'll come down, we might come back down to 10 cents. If we could hold 10 cents and put in a higher low there, and then continue to continue up from there, I think that is the most bullish case for Kronos at the moment. Is that exactly how it's going to play out? I don't know. At this point in time, it does look like the same thing again. It's probably going to go a bit lower, at least on the short term. But if we can just see a monthly low come in over the coming months, that would be fantastic. And really, the real point of concern would be if we start coming back down to this, 7 cent, because this is the current monthly swing low, this 7 cent range. So as long as, we could come all the way down to 8 cents, whatever it might be, 10 cents would be ideal. Obviously, it's a nice round number, but, even if we came down into and under the 10 cent range, that wouldn't be a concern, as long as we hold this higher, the higher low. God, that confuses me still. Now, as for Trust Wallet, we've been saying for quite a while now that yes, Trust Wallet is in a strong position, in the sense that we've got higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Right, we've got lots and lots of higher lows for Trust Wallet, and it's holding up quite well, considering all of 21 and 2022 were pretty well bear markets. It was a terrible time, but it held up quite strong. And what we've been saying is that, yeah, it's looking good, but we could always come down and test that trend line still, and that is definitely the case. That's what we're looking for. We even did wick below, which a wick below is fine. We see it happen. It depends where you draw your trend line from. You can draw a trend line a million different ways, but as long as we don't see any major closes below this, it's not time for concern. In fact, I'd be looking at this as a bit of a buying opportunity. If it came back down into the 90 cent range, a good potential buying opportunity. But then, of course, in saying that, if it comes, turn off my magnet, if it comes down to the 90 cent range, breaks, comes back up, tests, gets rejected, I would be running for the hills. That is not a good position. But I think, if it can just come down, test it, maybe something like that, then it could be all good. But, same thing again, we're just, short term, it looks like it's going to go lower. Definitely in the sense that, it's just the trend hasn't changed yet. I gotta turn off my pen because I keep drawing everywhere. But in the short term, nothing's really changed. It's clearly a downtrend. And if we see something change, as I said, some lower, some higher lows. If we see some higher lows form, then definitely we can start to change our thesis. But until then, definitely short-term bearish. Let's look at this trend line for support. And believe it or not, it is the same picture for Solana, where we've had a really good move. We called this move quite well. Now, honestly, I didn't expect quite as large a decrease, and this is what we were saying with Kronos, right? A lot of tokens are down quite considerably from their highs. If you bought at the top, you're down 43%, and Solana is one of the best performing altcoins so far this bull market. So I'm going to repeat myself yet again. Short term, until we see something change, we're going to have to remain bearish. If we can see some sort of, higher lows form, then maybe we can start to change our thesis. Where are we looking at to support as some potential price brackets? If you look at, I'm still on my pen mode. This might drive me crazy. But on the short term or on the weekly chart, you can kind of see, obviously this, $126 to, $60. Obviously that is a massive range. But that's where we found support last time. That's where Solana was able to reaccumulate and eventually break out of and continue higher. So I would realistically be looking at, do we hold this? Let me get the right drawing thing. Do we hold, if we can hold this low, right here on the swing low here on, what was it, January 22nd, that would be quite bullish. And obviously we do still have, or what we had the 50% level at $70, but I guess that 50% level has now moved up to roughly, if I get this on the right spot, rough give or take, $108. So I think if we'll probably come down and test that $108 range. It could be a good buying opportunity if we come back down and, maybe a fake out below or something. But as we said, we just got to wait for something to change basically on the short-term chart before we can start talking, long-term recoveries and bull markets and whatever else. So the pre-halving pullback is upon us, it seems, and now it's really just a matter of time of sitting it out and waiting. Maybe it's time to go touch some grass or, play some sports or go for a walk. Put the computer down for a little bit. It's not going to be a fun few months. Of course, this is a really good learning experience. If you did buy at the top, consider what you did wrong. Consider maybe why you were absent during all these lows when we were buying. Maybe go back and check out some of the prior monthly analysis videos. You will be able to find them. Where to buy Bitcoin before 100K. That's our monthly analysis. The next monthly analysis, that you can see they're all written monthly analysis. Now, do we get every single call absolutely correct? No. As you can see, our Bitcoin dominance, we got that wrong. We got Bitcoin dominance wrong. We expected it to go lower. We thought this was going to be the transitionary period, but that wasn't to be the case. But what we do is we go back, we have a look, and we learn from it, right? And that's all you can really do. Look, we get some great calls, we get some wrong calls. That's just a matter of fact. But what's most important is that you're profitable. And if you're following this channel for a long time, then buying up in these ranges, you are definitely profitable. But for now, guys, it's really just the boring sit back. Let's wait for this. We'll wait for this pullback to end, and then we'll wait for the bull market to take over and hopefully enter this parabolic phase. There are some pretty good events still happening in Bitcoin, but you might not be hearing about them because we're in a pullback. So, you probably haven't heard much about the Hong Kong exchange, or it's probably been twisted to be a negative, or the Hong Kong ATH, sorry, or it's twisted to be a negative event. These sort of things is just how the news plays out. But let's just wait it out and let's wait for that bull market to restart. Now, if you did enjoy, remember to hit that subscribe button. We are pushing up for 700 subs. Like the video if you found this helpful or if you enjoyed it. And remember to comment any questions that you might have down below. I'll hopefully try to remember to reply. I'm quite hit and miss on my comment replying, so fingers crossed this time I'm able to reply. And remember, guys, referral codes are down in the description below, so go check those out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.